You wake before alarms now, not from discipline but from quiet pressure. Somewhere, someone your age just announced a promotion, an engagement, a milestone you thought would be yours by now. You measure your progress in private against invisible clocks. Ambition still burns, yet exhaustion sits beside it, asking harder questions. You wonder if you chose wrong paths, trusted wrong maps, started too late. This is the age where uncertainty stops feeling philosophical and starts feeling personal. You're not lost, not failing, not finished. You're standing at a decisive intersection where direction, not speed, will determine who you become. Next. This is the age where expectations collide with evidence. In your early 20s, ambition ran on imagination. Now it runs into data. Salaries, titles, timelines, relationships, they are no longer abstract possibilities but measurable outcomes. You see peers accelerating, and the comparison feels involuntary, like checking a mirror you never meant to stand before. Financial pressure tightens its grip. Career paths, once chosen optimistically, now demand justification. Even relationships begin to reveal whether they are aligned partnerships or convenient arrangements. The pressure you feel is not weakness, it is awareness. Reality has entered the negotiation room, bringing spreadsheets instead of slogans. The ancient philosopher Socrates observed, "The unexamined life is not worth living." For someone in this decade, that means discomfort is evidence of growth, not failure. Examination is the beginning of authorship. Evidence forces evaluation, and evaluation gives you leverage. You can now revise strategy instead of blindly increasing effort, recalibrate direction instead of questioning your worth. This is not the collapse of ambition, it is its refinement. Earlier you performed. You chased validation, applause, approval metrics disguised as purpose. Titles felt like identity. Busyness felt like importance. But something is changing. You've lived enough to question what truly matters, and the approval you once chased now feels strangely hollow, like applause echoing in an empty hall. This is the pivot from performance to authorship. Instead of asking, "How do I impress?" you begin asking, "What do I actually want to build?" That question carries architectural weight, because defining yourself requires subtraction as much as addition. It demands you release outdated ambitions, borrowed definitions of success, and roles you accepted before you understood their cost. The Roman emperor philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." For you, this means identity is not granted by circumstances, but constructed by decisions. When you internalize that, comparison loses authority. You stop measuring your life by others' milestones and start evaluating it by internal alignment. Speed once felt like progress. Now you see its danger. Motion without direction is expensive, emotionally, financially, psychologically. Many discover this only after a decade spent climbing a ladder, leaning against the wrong wall. A rush decade can create a misaligned life, the way a ship traveling fast in the wrong direction only guarantees it will be lost sooner. Strategic patience, however, is not stagnation, it is recalibration. Architects do not rush foundations because nothing stable can rise from hurried groundwork. You are in what can be called your foundation decade, the structural phase where invisible decisions determine visible outcomes later. The Stoic statesman Seneca warned, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." In practical terms, effort without clarity multiplies frustration, while clarity turns even slow progress into strategic movement. This turning point invites you to pause, assess, and realign your internal compass, so your effort compounds instead of scatters. What you build now may not impress anyone immediately. Foundations rarely do. They are buried, invisible, uncelebrated. Yet every structure that lasts begins there. The certifications you pursue after work, the discipline you practice when no one is watching, the financial restraint you maintain while others display lifestyle victories online. These are load-bearing beams. You may feel late because results are not yet visible, but visibility is not the same as value. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Applied here, purpose is psychological infrastructure. When you know why you are building, the strain of construction becomes tolerable, even meaningful. Those who chase applause optimize for perception. Those who build foundations optimize for trajectory. Applause fades, alignment compounds, and those who grasp this distinction stop performing for crowds and start constructing lives. The anxiety about timing is real. You see announcements, milestones, visible markers of advancement, and a quiet voice asks whether you missed your window. But timing is rarely as linear as it appears from the outside. Many who seem ahead are experimenting as they go, adjusting silently, doubting privately. The psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." For someone in their late 20s or early 30s, this is a strategic principle. When circumstances stall, identity must evolve. Reinvention is not evidence of instability. It is evidence of responsiveness. Course correction is not failure. It is navigation. You begin to realize something quietly revolutionary. You are not racing your peers. You are positioning your future. Positioning requires foresight, restraint, and the willingness to look unimpressive while constructing something structurally sound. It means choosing skills that will matter in 10 years instead of applause that lasts 10 minutes. It means asking whether your current direction is scalable, sustainable, and aligned, not merely exciting. This is the stage where many people panic and accelerate. The wiser response is to evaluate and aim. The fear of being late often disguises itself as urgency, but urgency without direction produces noise, not progress. When you step back and observe your life strategically, you see patterns. Which efforts generate momentum? Which relationships drain clarity? Which environments sharpen your thinking? Which habits dilute it? Awareness like this is power. It transforms you from passenger to navigator. Instead of reacting to pressure, you begin directing it, channeling it, using it as fuel. You start noticing that timelines were mostly invented, confidence is often rehearsed, and many people you once compared yourself to are quietly improvising. The quiet panic you feel is more universal than you think. Everyone looks certain from a distance. Up close, most are negotiating doubt. That realization is power, not discouragement, because once you see through the illusion of synchronized success, you stop racing ghosts and start steering intentionally. Perspective is the advantage of this decade. You're old enough to recognize performance when you see it, and young enough to refuse building your life on it. That awareness changes how you interpret everything. Promotions become positioning. Delays become recalibrations, and uncertainty becomes information rather than indictment. Your first real failures arrived recently enough to still feel personal. A job that didn't work, a plan that collapsed, a relationship that revealed truths you weren't ready to face. Yet these were not verdicts, they were diagnostics. Failure, at this stage, is data, precise, instructive, directional. It exposes flawed assumptions, the way stress testing reveals cracks in architecture. The theoretical physicist Albert Einstein remarked, "Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new." For someone building a life path, this reframes failure from embarrassment into evidence of engagement with reality. Early missteps are valuable because they happen while your structure is still adjustable. Those who avoid setbacks often construct confidence on fragile framing. Those who analyze setbacks reinforce their foundation with steel. When a career path collapses, it clarifies what work actually suits your temperament. When a relationship ends, it clarifies what alignment truly requires. These are not detours. They are course corrections drawn by experience instead of theory. Compounding is quiet. It does not announce itself. One disciplined hour a day, one intentional decision a week, one strategic adjustment a month. These feel insignificant in isolation, but time is an amplifier. Repeated choices become tendencies, tendencies become traits, traits become identity, and identity determines trajectory. The psychologist William James explained, all our life, so far as it has definite form, is but a mass of habits. Translated into practical terms, your future is not shaped by intensity, but by repetition. The late nights you use to study instead of scroll, the money you save instead of display, the skill you refine instead of postpone. These actions look small, but behave like interest in an investment account. They accumulate silently until one day the results appear sudden to observers, though you know they were engineered slowly. Your 40s are not created in your 40s. They are engineered now, in routines no one applauds, and standards no one monitors. Invisible discipline is structural work. Redirection is not regression. It is authorship. You are young enough to change and old enough to choose wisely. Letting go of a path that no longer fits is not wasted time, it is reclaimed trajectory. Many people remain trapped in misaligned careers or relationships because they fear the appearance of starting over. But real regression is continuing in a direction that contradicts who you are becoming. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "No price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself." For you, this means alignment is worth temporary uncertainty. Choosing direction intentionally may require disappointing expectations, your own or others. It may require explaining a pivot no resume can summarize. Yet the courage required now is quieter than ambition, but more decisive. It is the willingness to admit, with calm honesty, that version of success isn't mine. The moment you accept that truth, drifting ends. Navigation begins. No one is coming to define your direction. Mentors can advise, friends can support, circumstances can influence, but authorship is non-transferable. The trajectory you're setting will be shaped less by dramatic leaps and more by repeated decisions you almost ignore. What you read, what you practice, who you listen to, what you tolerate, what you postpone. The writer James Allen stated, "You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you." For someone in this decade, that is not poetry, it is policy. Your dominant thoughts determine your dominant direction. If you think strategically, you act deliberately. If you act deliberately, you move intentionally, and intentional movement compounds into momentum. There will still be moments when doubt resurfaces, when a peer's visible success unsettles you, when financial pressure questions your patience, when uncertainty asks whether you miscalculated. In those moments, remember what the neurologist and psychiatrist Viktor Frankl observed. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is your power to choose our response. That space is your command center. It is where comparison can be replaced with evaluation, anxiety with analysis, urgency with intention. Master that space and you master direction. This is the decisive truth of your current phase. You are not behind, you are positioning. Positioning is strategic. It considers terrain, timing, leverage, and endurance. It values placement over speed, alignment over applause, trajectory over appearance. Many rush forward because stillness feels like failure. But stillness used for calibration is not failure. It is preparation. A navigator pauses to read instruments before adjusting course. An investor studies markets before allocating capital. An architect surveys land before laying foundations. You are in that survey stage now, whether you realized it or not. So choose deliberately, not perfectly, not fearlessly, but consciously. Direction, once chosen, converts effort into momentum. Momentum, sustained long enough, converts uncertainty into confidence. And confidence earned through evidence, not performance, becomes the kind that cannot be shaken by comparison, delay, or doubt. The path ahead does not demand speed, it demands authorship.